I don't think I've ever been more disappointed in my life. I didn't even have high expectations for these two movies, but dear God, these movies are just so bad. Neither of them are good. I just don't even know where to start. I still can't even comprehend what happened in the Crimes of Grindelwald, and apparently they're making a third Fantastic Beasts movie. I'm sorry, but what studio executives are greenlighting these projects? Like, did you guys watch the movie? Well, if you didn't, don't worry, because I did, and I couldn't believe what I was watching half the time. And you soon realize that all of this was just so unnecessary. So let's not waste any more time, let's talk about fantastic boners and where to locate them. This movie is 2 hours long.
Hello there.
And for an hour and 20 minutes, it's not really that bad. I wouldn't classify it as a bad movie. But the last 40 minutes is just fucking ridiculous. So the first Fantastic Beast film is about an animal lover named Newt Scamander, who travels to America to release a magical bird in Arizona. But during his travels, he gets tangled up in some adventures with an American Ministry of Magic detective named Tina and a non-magical man named Kowalski, or No-Maj, as the American wizards like to call them, when some of his animals get loose in New York City. All while this is happening, another wizard detective named Graves is trying to locate a child that has a power of an Obscurus, which is basically a magical orb thingy that grows inside of kids that shun their magic and eventually kills them at a young age. Graves, for some reason, believes that this child is located in a family that is trying to expose the world of magic, and he works with Ezra Miller to find out who the child is. Oh, and I guess there's this guy named Grindelwald that is also here, who has like 2 scenes and isn't really that important. So now that you know what this movie is about, let me skip to where everything goes wrong. So at this point in the film, our 3 main characters have found 2 of the 3 missing Fantastic Beasts, and must find the third one to prevent the magical world from being exposed. However, the last beast is invisible, and is, I quote, immensely difficult to capture.
How do you catch something
With immense difficulty.
So then they get tipped off by some CGI elf about where it is, and go to capture it. And this scene might be the perfect example of what's wrong with these movies. Our group arrives at the location to see the invisible creature carrying around purses and shit, and then in the very next shot, the invisible creature is now visible. Why, you ask? I don't know. I don't know. Why have this creature have a very specific and identifiable trait when the second our characters arrive, it's just then ignored? This is called bad writing if you guys didn't know. And then Newt says that this creature is babysitting for something, so they follow the creature up a stairway to find another Fantastic Beast. And then they just kind of like, touch it and talk to it, even though that we're kind of on a timetable, people. Then we are revealed that the invisible creature that is now visible has the power of foresight and can see the future. I don't know about you guys, but why the fuck is this in the movie? This is all so meaningless. This all just means nothing. Why is it important that this creature can see the future? It's not. It's just some dumb fucking detail, okay? That's all it is. Then there's also this big battle going on with Ezra Miller literally plowing through the fucking city. So then we have a chase sequence to catch him and stop him from exploding, where we have a horrible wizard fight between Tina and Graves. Wow, this sucks. Wow, I love all the color they're using. So then they move down into the subway, and all the wizards of the American Ministry come to cover it up with this shield thing, which at first I thought was a way to hide the magical stuff that was going on. But no, it turns out that all these people can see this. They are even taking pictures. Like, if you guys wanted to hide your presence away from the outside world, this was not the move. So we move into the subway where Newt tries to calm down Ezra Miller, but then fights Graves in another horrible wizard fight. So then Ezra Miller gets mad and explodes and dies. Oh, but wait, it looks like a part of him lived. How'd that happen? Oh, it doesn't matter, you'll never find out. But then soon after, Graves is revealed to be none other than Grindelwald, who we know nothing about. I'm not even kidding, this is the only scene with him. This is also the opening scene. Bro, what is this? This is not a scene. Like, even when he's Graves throughout the movie, we don't know anything about him. We get that he's some sort of magical terrorist, but we never learn what his actual intentions are with this child or Obscurus. He just wants the child to be friends with him? I don't know, what does this do for him? Now we've reached the end of the film where everything must be wrapped up. And since now the magical world is exposed to the public, that must be fixed. So what do? Well, Newt sends up his bird into a storm with this vial, which I forget what it does, but apparently gets rid of magical memories. And then it begins to rain. And just like that, all the people in the city forget about magic. They even show the people in their houses who wouldn't be affected by the rain have their memories wiped. Like what? How does that make sense? And then they wipe Kowalski's mind. But then they hint at the end that he remembers. Okay, I guess. How? Why? I guess your potion doesn't fucking work. I don't know. Then the movie fucking ends. Thank God. It really wasn't that bad for the majority of the film, honestly. I was actually kind of enjoying what was going on. Newt is just an animal lover, and it's really cute. And it's also kind of nice to enjoy a magical world that doesn't have Harry Potter as the main focus. It's whatever. I'll probably never watch it again. 4 out of 10, not good. Now, we have finally made it, guys. The final movie, The Crimes of Grindelwald. And this is by far the absolute worst one out of all the movies we've watched so far. I've never seen a film so fucking convoluted and poorly written in such a popular franchise. This movie makes The Rise of Skywalker look like a masterpiece. This movie is just nonsense. I don't know how many times I had to pause this movie and sit and think about what was happening. It had to have been like 30 fucking times. I'm not even kidding. Like, I don't even know where to start, so let's just start at the beginning. So Grindelwald is in prison from the previous film, but is now being moved to Europe to answer for his crimes. So apparently, this guy isn't actually Grindelwald. It's just some dude. But this guy right here is Grindelwald. The same guy who just handed over the magical promise ring that Grindelwald in the next few minutes will literally kill people for, and that this whole upcoming chase scene is about. Like, why are you doing this, Grindelwald? Just take the thing and run. So Grindelwald lets them leave with the fake Grindelwald and his promise ring. And then he lets him get a head start, and then he goes and hijacks the carriage. Also, why can everyone just shapeshift now? I thought you needed the Polyjuice potion to change appearances. This guy just does it like it's no biggie. So then he gets in the carriage and saves his follower, and then he decides to kill his little animal friend. Hi, you're so fucking evil, dude. I hate you. Best writing ever. Now we meet up with our good friend Newt Scamander, who is at the Ministry of Magic trying to get his travel ban removed, which in turn makes the Ministry of Magic offer Newt the position of hunting down Ezra Miller. Because they don't really give us a reason why. Like, aren't there professionals who do this? So Newt says no and leaves, but is then met by Dumbledore, who tells him that he has to find Ezra Miller and only him. But once again, why Newt? This makes absolutely no sense why Newt would be tasked to find Ezra Miller. He doesn't even really know the dude, but Newt agrees because the script says he does, and then he goes home. In which Kowalski and Queenie show up for absolutely zero fucking reason, and then they just decide to leave moments later after we find out that Queenie has brainwashed Kowalski into loving her, even though Kowalski already loves her, and the reason was that he didn't want to marry her because he didn't want to put her life at risk or something. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that, so I'm just gonna leave that there and let you do the rest. Later on, we discover Grindelwald's plan and why he wants Ezra Miller. He believes that if Ezra Miller is on his side, that he can defeat Dumbledore. And so a henchman of Grindelwald asks a very, very logical question.
We know where the boy is, don't we? Why don't we grab him and leave?
In which Grindelwald responds with one of the most cliche plot devices ever.
He must come to me freely, and he will.
I fucking hate it when villains just act like everything is going according to plan without explaining how. It's just horrible writing. Like, how do you know he will come to you? You have no fucking clue. So we are a little over 40 minutes into this movie, and I've come to the realization that I won't be able to finish this without at least some alcohol in my system.
So this guy's name is Comma, like the punctuation mark. And then he just falls asleep. He's just so tired of the movie. He just falls asleep. So guys, remember when Grindelwald knew that Ezra Miller was gonna come to him? So apparently that didn't work out. And so he showed up to him on this rooftop with like a flyer for his cult meeting, and he just gives it to him.
Come to Paris tonight.
We soon reach the climax where all of our characters meet and the truth is revealed about Ezra Miller's past, in which some of the worst writing of all time transpires. So basically, Kama made a promise to his father to kill the son of some old white dude that stole his wife. And Kama thinks it's Ezra Miller. And he spends about 5 minutes explaining why Ezra Miller is actually Corvus Lestrange. But then Lita Lestrange is like,
Corvus Lestrange is already dead. I killed him.
and spends the next 2 minutes explaining why Corvus is actually dead because she killed him by switching babies with someone else when the ship sank because the baby was annoying her. And then Newt says it wasn't Lita's fault, but it kind of was though. Like, girl, you definitely played a big part in that baby dying. But basically, the whole scene is just designed to say that we still don't know who Ezra Miller is. Like, Corvus Lestrange does not matter in the slightest. And Kama kind of seems like a pointless character now that he doesn't have a reason to kill Ezra Miller. And then Lita dies a few minutes later, so why do I care about any of this Lestrange stuff? But then the movie ends a few minutes later with us finding out that Ezra Miller is actually Aurelius Dumbledore. And I guess now Grindelwald can finally defeat Dumbledore. But honestly, I still don't get why Grindelwald can't beat Dumbledore. He's got the Elder Wand. Doesn't that make you, like, impossible to defeat? Whatever, this movie is complete dog shit. 2 out of 10.
Calamari.
Now comes the part that you've all been waiting for through all of these videos. The ranking of all 10 Harry Potter films, or magical franchise films. I don't know what you would call these. I just call them Harry Potter films. So let's get this over with. Number 10, The Crimes of Grindelwald. I don't think many people are gonna argue with me about this one. This movie's pretty awful, and nobody should ever watch it. Number 9, The Goblet of Fire. Now, people actually might argue with me on this one, but I don't really care, because I don't like this movie in the slightest. This movie pisses me off beyond belief with all the stupid shit in it, and I really don't want to watch it ever again. Number 8, The Deathly Hallows Part 1. Now, there seems to be this, like, cult following of people that think this movie is, like, secretly good. I can understand that. I can see, like, there are some good elements to it, kind of. Not really, but, it's just too boring for me. Number 7, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I enjoyed the first half of this movie. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed the scene with Newt, doing the little mating dance with the one animal. I thought that was cool. But the second half, it's just abysmal. The writing is just so bad, and it just makes me never want to watch that movie again after that. Number 6, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The first Harry Potter film is definitely not the best, but it is a fun one. It's a kids movie. It's enjoyable. Anybody can watch it and enjoy it, but it's a little boring at parts. Doesn't really focus on a lot of plot, more just kind of like exploring the world. And it does a good job of that, but I don't think it's as good as the other films. Number 5, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The second Harry Potter film I think is just slightly better than the first. I think it's just like the first, but I enjoy the story more, and it has more plot, and it's more interesting, I think, with the whole Chamber of Secrets thing. It also introduces Voldemort better than it did the first one. Number 4, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Now this one is interesting because I think a lot of people hate this film. It's definitely one of the hardest ones to watch, just from a physical standpoint. But I like it because it's different from the previous films. It's not so much focused on the wizarding adventure or mystery. It's more between our characters, and I think that's why I like it so much, is because it feels so much different. And I think I kind of needed a break from the normal Harry Potter formula when I watched this film. Number 3, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Now, I don't know why I like this movie so much. It's got a lot wrong with it. There's a lot of issues in it, but it's too much fun to hate. I have too much fun watching this movie to get mad at it enough that I won't watch it, unlike Crimes of Grindelwald or Deathly Hallows Part 1. Number 2, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Now, this is where we get into the good shit. This movie is just on crack. After Harry gets to Hogwarts, it's literally so good. There are some problems with it, but you know what? I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed all the shit hitting the fan. I wish someone would have like shot Voldemort in the head instead of him just like dissolving, but still, super fun movie, very satisfying, one of the best. And number 1, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is what I would call the perfect Harry Potter film. Not that it's a 10 out of 10, because I don't think it's a 10 out of 10, but it has the perfect balance of adventure, character building, and mystery. It's just hands down the best looking film, the best written film. It's too good, and it's too fun to watch. And that's why it deserves the number 1 spot.